Hello everybody! We are the Group 8 in BSPHARMA 1A, and our lesson for today is about present value of a compound amount and finding the interest rate. And without further ado, let's begin with Justin and Bianca to explain the present value of a compound amount.
First, let's define what is present value. Present value is a financial metric used to determine the current worth of a future sum of money or cash flows discounted at a specific interest rate. Computed using the formula P is equals C over close and open parenthesis 1 plus I to the power of n, where P is the principal or present value, C is the compound amount or future value, I is the period interest rate, and n is the total number of compounding periods. Let's go through these examples step by step. The problem involves Romeo planning to raise $350,000 in 3 years. The goal is to determine how much he needs to invest today if the money grows at an interest rate of 12% compounded quarterly. First, we must understand and list the given data. Future value, or the capital letter C, is equals to 350,000 pesos. This is the amount Romeo wants to have in the future. Time, or the small letter T, is equals to 3 years, represents the time frame of the investment. Annual interest rate, or the small letter R, is equals to 12% or 0.12. We converted it into a decimal by dividing 100 to 12, which gives us the answer of 0.12. Compounding frequency, quarterly, meaning interest is compounded 4 times a year. Next is we calculate the quarterly interest rate. The quarterly interest rate is found by dividing the annual interest rate by the number of compounding periods in a year. Thus, I is equals to M. Substitute the given values. 0.12 over 4 is equals to 0.03 or 3 per quarter. Next is we use the formula for present value P, which is P is equals to C over close and open parenthesis 1 plus I to the power of n. C is the future value, which is 350,000. I is the quarterly interest, which is 0.03 or 3. N is the total number of compounding periods, which is 12. Since the investment is compounded quarterly for 3 years, compounding frequency, which is equivalent to 4 multiplied by 3 years, is equals to 12. Now, substitute the values into the formula. P is equals to 350,000 over close and open parenthesis 1 plus 0.03 to the power of 12. Simplify the calculation by adding the denominator first. 1 plus 0.03 to the power of 12 is equals to 1.42576, and then we divided it to 350,000 divided by 1.4257, which gives us the answer of 245,482.96.
Here is another example of finding the present value. Find the present value of 95,000 at 8% compounded quarterly for 6 years and 5 months. The 8% compounded quarterly for 6 years and 5 months in the problem means it will due in 6 years and 5 months, with an interest rate of 8% per year compounded quarterly. Again, present value with the symbol P is the amount we need in the present time to grow to a specified future value under a given interest rate and time. Same as the first example, we will still use the same formula, which is the present value is equals to the compound amount or future value over 1 plus the interest rate per period raised to the power of the total number of compounding periods. Now, how will we get the answer? First, with the given future value of 95,000 in a total time of 6 years and 5 months, we will start by converting the time into months, which is 6 times 12 is equal to 72 months, and that's only for 6 years. Then add the remaining 5 months, making it a total time of 77 months. Next is solving the period interest rate, or the symbol I. J represents the annual nominal interest rate, or the stated interest rate of the whole year. In this problem, J is 0.08 or 0.08, while M represents the number of compounding periods per year. Since the interest is compounded quarterly or 4 times a year, M is equals to 4. Then solve 0.08 over 4 is equal to 0.02. So 0.02 is the period interest rate in this problem. Now that the formula is complete, we will solve for P, or the present value. P is equal to 95,000 over 1 plus 0.02, which is the period interest rate, raised to the power of this 77 over 3, which is the total number of compounding period. Then simplify 95,000 over 1.02 raised to the power of 77 over 3 with a total of 57,146. In conclusion, the present value is 57,146 pesos. This means we would need 57,146 today, invested at 8% compounded quarterly, to grow to 95,000 in 6 years and 5 months.
Thank you, Bianca. Now let's move on to our next topic in our presentation, finding the interest rate. In finding compound amount, there are 2 interest rates to be considered, the nominal interest rate and the periodic interest rate. The nominal interest rate is the percent annual rate and is denoted by J, and the periodic interest rate is the rate that gives percent interest each period and is denoted by I. To solve the nominal interest rate, you have to multiply the periodic rate and the term period. And to solve for the periodic rate, you have to divide the nominal rate over the term period. Now, for the formulas in finding the compound amount and the periodic interest rate. From the formula in finding the compound amount, you must multiply the present value by 1 plus periodic interest rate over the total of number of compounding periods. And for the formula in finding the periodic interest rate, it is expressed as the compound amount divided by the present value over by 1 divided by total number of compounding periods minus 1. Let's look at this example. At what periodic rate compounded quarterly will 17,500 become 32,250 at the end of 12 years? So our given here, the present value is 17,500. Our compound amount is 32,250, and for the total number of periods, we have 12 years. And since it is compounded quarterly, we get 4 periods in a year. So our total number in compounding periods is 48. Now let us solve for the periodic interest rate. So let's divide the present value and the compound amount. 32,250 divided by 17,500 over 1 divided by 48 minus 1. And we will get 0.0128172198. You can also simplify it by 0.12. And you can then convert it to percentage by multiplying it by 100. So 0.12 multiplied by 100 is equal to 1.2%. So the final answer for this question is that the periodic interest rate is 1.2%.